Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today. We are bringing some immediate, crystal clear clarity to a major, urgent food safety alert. Seriously, this might actually affect what you are planning to heat up for lunch today. We're looking at a massive recall that literally just hit shelves across North America. Our goal right now is to break down the whole shebang, exactly what happened, why it happened, and most importantly, what you need to do about it right away. So if you're someone who prides themselves on a well-stocked kitchen, you are absolutely going to want to pay close attention to this one.
Okay, let's dive into this, because there's a big question we don't usually ask ourselves when we're staring at rows of canned goods, right? Is your own pantry hiding a hidden spoilage risk? I mean, we tend to think of canned foods as practically indestructible. They're like the ultimate apocalyptic survival food. They just sit quietly on our shelves for years. But as we'll see in the source material for today's explainer, even the most rock-solid, reliable pantry staples can harbor an unexpected problem.
Just take a look at the sheer scale of this situation, 184,000. That is a massive, massive number, and it represents the total amount of individual cans that have been caught up in this voluntary recall. To break that down a bit further, to put it into perspective, we are talking about 15,350 cases of soup. And hey, this isn't just some isolated local issue either. These cans spread like wildfire, making their way into pantries across 27 different states in the US and all the way up into Canada too. That widespread distribution is exactly why getting the facts straight today is absolutely crucial.
Now, we need to get incredibly precise here so you know exactly what to look for on your shelves. The specific product at the center of this massive recall is Amy's Organic Lentil Soup, but wait, specifically the light in sodium variety. Amy's Kitchen is a hugely popular brand, right? They're super well known for their organic and vegetarian options, which means this soup is a major staple in households that are just looking for a quick, health-conscious meal. If you have the regular Amy's Lentil Soup, or honestly any other flavor, those are not included here. We are zeroing in strictly on the light in sodium version.
And this brilliantly illustrates how a simple mechanical failure can escalate. You might be wondering, well, how does a sealed metal can of soup suddenly become a spoilage risk? According to a company spokesperson, it all comes down to a manufacturing defect in the can's easy pull tab. You know that seemingly convenient little ring on the top of the can? Yeah, that actually failed during production. Because of that mechanical failure, the integrity of the can is compromised, basically allowing air in and significantly increasing the risk of the product inside spoiling. Amy's Kitchen stated that they acted out of an abundance of caution here to ensure safety and quality. They wanted to pull the product way before any widespread health issues could pop up.
So this brings us to the news you can use portion of our explainer. I want you to literally check your pantry tonight against these highly specific, actionable data points. Go grab the can and look for lot number 60D0924. Got it? Next, check the best by date. You are looking for April 2027. If your can has those exact markings, it's definitely part of the recall. And if you're racking your brain wondering where you might have bought it, these affected batches were sold nationwide at major retail chains. We're talking places like Walmart, Kroger, and Albertsons.
So the crucial point is understanding the actual threat level here. Let's be real, the word recall can sound incredibly scary. On July 14th, the FDA officially categorized this as a Class 2 recall. Let's de-jargon that for a second. A Class 2 recall basically means that while the product could cause adverse health consequences, those consequences are likely temporary or medically reversible. The probability of something severely serious or life-threatening happening is actually considered remote, so this should offer a bit of reassurance. I mean, you definitely shouldn't eat it, for sure, but it isn't a completely terrifying worst-case scenario alert.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the broader context of how we, as everyday consumers, view food safety. Parade magazine actually ran a reader poll recently, asking people what the absolute worst type of food recall is in their minds over the last 20 years. Interestingly, a canned soup recall falls into a much, much lower fear bracket for most folks. Think about it. 38% of people are most terrified of produce recalls, like E. coli and romaine lettuce. Another 25% fear egg or poultry outbreaks, like salmonella, and 19% fear meat contamination, like listeria. Canned goods usually feel so safe to us, and that makes a recall like this Amy Soup situation feel surprising and kind of uniquely disruptive to our normal shopping habits.
And speaking of consumer habits, the reaction to this recall in the article's comment section is absolutely fascinating. It gives us a really good look at how differently people process food safety news. We have Deborah, who was just downright disappointed, noting the soup totally lacked flavor. Then we have Greg in Texas. He actually experienced a mild illness and noted a mushy texture. Now, interestingly, Greg in Texas also shared a personal political theory. He suggested that the presence of tainted foods on shelves is a direct result of the political defunding of regulatory agencies like the FDA and EPA. And finally, a commenter named Mullate expressed total avoidance. They stated they completely stopped buying canned soup decades ago because they view the ingredients as sickening. It really shows the massive spectrum of consumer trust and reaction out there.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how a stressful situation like a recall can actually still bring out a bit of dark humor. Look at this quote from Deborah Lawrence Hale. She wrote, "It has no flavor. Maybe spoilage would have given it some flavor." That is just hilariously opinionated. She noted that she had actually just eaten the soup right before the recall was announced, didn't get sick at all, but was just terribly let down by her taste buds. It's a perfectly relatable human element, isn't it? Even in the absolute midst of FDA alerts and tracking down lot numbers, at the end of the day, we're all just trying to have a decent, tasty lunch.
Which brings us to the end of our breakdown and really to the most important question of all. Will you be checking the lot numbers on your pantry shelves tonight? Because honestly, food safety relies just as much on our own consumer awareness as it does on manufacturing standards. Now that you have the specific product, the exact lot number, and the full context behind a defect, well, the ball is entirely in your court. I really hope this explainer gave you exactly the tools and structure you need to navigate this recall efficiently and safely. Check those labels, keep your kitchen safe, keep learning, and as always, stay curious.